Hey YouTube! We're up in the beautiful high plains. We're doing a few days hike up in Mount Bogong. And it's actually the first time we've been out on a trip on our own for since we got back from the trip. And we've got a bit of space to reflect, so we thought we'd put together a video and just sort of share our thoughts and give you an idea of where we are now and how we're travelling and what our plans are in the future.
So the transition back home was something we hadn't really prepared for. You know, you have all these plans for your trip and that's what your main focus is, and then you're just back home and you have to kind of adjust to your normal life again. So it was a bit odd. It felt a little bit disjointed and a bit disorientating, but it was still smoother than it could have been, I think.
Yeah, I think because we were coming back to things that we were genuinely excited about. Like the trip wasn't sort of an escape for us from our day-to-day. Libby was coming back to some teaching and I was coming back to a job that I really love, so I think that helped a lot. But yeah, you're right, it was disorienting for sure. We stayed with my brother for a couple of months and his partner, which was really, really lovely. It was really nice to catch up with friends and family a lot more again, which is something we missed on the trip. So I think overall it was a pretty smooth transition. I mean, it was just strange because it's a whole lifestyle change. You're not sort of living each day as it comes, getting up with the sun, getting back down. There's a lot more sort of obligation and responsibilities and things that we were coming back home, which was great. I think we were ready for that mental challenge again, but it took a while to adjust to.
It was just different, a different way of living.
So after living with my brother and his partner, we moved out to a small town out near Daylesford, and we're just sort of settling in there for the moment and really loving that out there. So we're out in Bogong. We might give you a bit of B-roll, catch you up on a few things that you've been missing out on as we've been hearing in the comments, which has been really nice. So we'll show you the trip that we're doing. I think we're going to go down and meet my brother and his partner and a mate down in Bright for some mountain biking. So we might show you a bit of that too and insert some reflections in between. So that was Mount Bogong. It's absolutely stunning. It's one of my favourite parts of Victoria. we try and head up there every year, and obviously didn't get a chance last year because we're on our bikes. So it was really, really nice to get back out there and get above the tree line into all of the epicness and the clouds. Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Definitely reminded me of the trip, just being so isolated and in nature. It was
Yeah.
a nice little moment.
For sure. So we just thought we'd do a bit of a reflection on the trip. Like we said, it's been over a year since we started. I think this time last year we were just rolling into Bungle Bungle National Park, which was one of the highlights of the trip. So I think for me the biggest highlight of the trip was that 2-week stretch in northern WA where we had that 40-degree plus heat for 2 weeks straight. It was just like the most brutal riding. We were so isolated, 500 kilometers between rest stops and water stops. Doing our night riding under the moon, and it was some of the toughest stuff, but I think also the most memorable because of that. And I think that was actually a bit of a common theme for me throughout the trip, that the toughest stuff I really look back on now, and I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. How about you?
One of the things that stood out was just the kindness of strangers and people on the road. You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic and people are still offering to have us in their homes. That we rolled into a campsite and had multiple people coming up to us being like, oh, would you like a cold beer? Do you need water?
Yeah.
Like,
it was really beautiful.
Yeah, it just kind of, in a time when things were so chaotic, coming from living in an apartment, being locked down, coming into that kind of community feel, even though we didn't know anybody, we felt like we were being looked after, and it was just kind of restored our faith a little bit in the kindness of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's always difficult to pick highlights because the whole thing was a big journey and a big experience, and it all tied in together. But I think, they were the highlights for us. Yeah,
and probably also the diversity of the landscape that we were able to see. You know, we've done a few overseas trips, and I still don't think anything compares to what we were able to experience in this 6 months journey.
Yeah.
You know, that you juxtapose the plains of the Nullarbor with the Daintree rainforest, which is, the oldest rainforest in the world, and it's just crazy that that's in one country.
Yeah.
So I just feel incredibly lucky and privileged to have been able to do it at all.
Yeah, sure. So we've had a few comments on the channel just asking and curious about where we are and what we're doing at the moment. Like we said earlier on in the video, we're both settled into our work really nicely, really loving that. We've settled into a beautiful town just outside Trentham in sort of central Victoria, and loving the serenity of it, loving the bush, loving the bird life, and it's really nice to have our own space again. So we're feeling very settled and relaxed and content.
Yeah.
The touring bikes are packed away in the shed at the moment. They're collecting a little bit of dust. We're thinking about stripping them down if we go on a new tour, putting them up on the wall and getting some new bikes and keeping them as a bit of a memento, because they did struggle across the line towards the end. They were pretty done. So we haven't been doing any touring since we got back, but the love of riding's still there. We've just picked our mountain biking back up again and really, really enjoying that. Been getting out every weekend on the bikes. We bought some brand newies not too long ago, and just loving getting out with some mates and my brother. I guess with work being so busy at the moment, it's just the perfect combination of getting out there into nature, doing some exercise, and having an opportunity to be social as well. So it's a very efficient use of our time, and we're loving it.
Yeah.
And that's actually where we're up to now. So we're just outside Bright. We're going to camp here for a night, and then my brother, his partner, and a mate are coming round, and we're going to stay for 3 nights just at the bottom of Mystic Mountain Bike Park in Bright and do some riding. Fingers crossed, no injuries. It's one of the best trails, I think, in the state. I really, really love it. We've been here maybe 4 or 5 times already now since we've come back. So we'll jump on the mountain bikes for a few days, have a bit of a cruise around, show you what that's all about, and then catch you at the end for a bit of a what's next. Okay, back from Bright. That was a lot of fun. We're absolutely exhausted though. My brother and I both had a tumble, both came off our bikes, but no harm done apart from some bruised wrists and knees and egos. It was great. We had bucketing rain for the first night, and then it cleared up nicely, so we got a good chance to get out there and have some fun.
Yeah, it was really nice. So I guess to wrap up the video, we thought we might just let you in on what our plans are for the future. New Zealand and doing New South Wales are definitely something we want to tour.
Yeah, the original plan, COVID aside, for our bike trip was actually to ride all the way to the northern tip of Australia, fly across and do north to south New Zealand and make that a loop, and maybe a bit of Tasmania, but COVID obviously prevented us from travelling for a long time, so that was the backup in a way. So yeah, New Zealand would be cool.
It worked out perfectly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And then among other bike trips, tours, mountain biking, hiking, adventuring, we have plans of starting a family in the next few years and buying some property and starting to build a semi-sustainable block of land, which has always been our dream in the background. So we've got some really exciting and interesting projects to look forward to in the future. We're excited about all of them. I think that wraps us up. Yeah. Thanks again for following us for the whole journey. It was an incredible experience, and like we said on that last video, it made things a lot easier having people along for the journey and offering support and encouragement and sending their love. So thanks for being along for the journey. We'll definitely be putting videos out if and when we go on our next tour, so keep your eyes peeled on the channel, and hopefully see you soon back out on the road.
Yeah.